Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, but has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree with me.
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experience. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is a continuation of our game of Follow by Ben Robbins and produced or published by Lame Mage Games or Lame Mage Productions. To learn more about how we generate stories playing the game of Follow, go check out our Follow Rules Primer. Our humble players, myself, John Holt, with me.
Ken Breeze.
Christopher McFarland, thank you for having me.
All right, Chris.
Hey, good to have
And
you back.
Also returning.
Zach Norton, happy to be here.
All right, Zach, welcome back. Cool. So we are getting back into our game of Follow. We are the gods. We go by the name of the Ash. We beat back the monsters that continue to plague our world. And unfortunately, the mortals resent us for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Weird.
Our goal is to have them worship us.
Yeah,
We want more mortal
need
worshipers.
to worship us.
So far, our first challenge was leading a pitched battle against the host, our enemies, these monstrous, winged, celestial, beautiful, perfect beings. Unfortunately,
Golden eyes.
it didn't quite work out. One of our number, a godling, an offspring of Morgus, was lost, and still this hole into the other world, this maw that opens up into the beautiful lands, is there. We still are on our way towards trying to gain more mortal worshippers, and we're going to set ourselves up a challenge and go from there.
Yeah, I'm sniffing around this destroy a line of kings or heroes that offend us. We had an assault in the last mission, but I think this idea of destroying the line, right? Like stopping these people continuing is of interest to me. Why that might be difficult, these people could be beloved by the mortals, and thus wiping them out might cause our worship to drop yet further. They could be protected by these so-called angels.
Are they the descendants of some demigod or something like that? Are they touched in some divine way?
I mean, is it something like after this battle, this is the
Is
line of kings that rose from the surviving warriors who fought on the side of the angels,
And
kind of thing?
and we've kind of had to scurry away and hide for all this time, long enough for them to kind of assume everything is fine, that they have asserted dominance over the land, but we are ever persistent.
Yeah, and perhaps if they were born from this cataclysm, if they actually came out of my sort of separating wounds, then they have ash blood in them,
Yes.
and perhaps there's some rule that we cannot kill one another, and so destroying this line is complicated if they have.
They offend us, so we need to. So
blood.
we're forbidden to kill our own.
We can't spill
and they're
ash blood.
partially our own.
We spent 12 years fighting this pitched battle.
That's right.
And then, like Titans of old, we go to ground,
receded,
we
yeah.
recede, and this new civilization flourishes over the next generation
Right.
or
And-
two or three.
It's a storied people of god kings and heroes of legend. How long will it take us to destroy this line?
7
cool.
generations.
7 generations.
7 generations.
Okay.
I love it.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
I think Synapse, because of this connection, this network that we have through our blood to these people, is maybe the most interesting person to start us off.
I think it's been maybe 100 years since the pitched battle.
Century.
The Maw of Yardik has a memory, and it's probably a little bit of a legend for these new people. But in the meantime, these kings are beginning to find this new system of government to be a new civilization to lead people into prosperity, into peace. This scene begins in the throne room of the first king after he has taken leave of the palace. It is Synapse, Yuri, definitely Woolwarsh. The Veil should be in this as well. It's been some time, and with the creation of these creatures that are inextricably bound by blood. There's some sort of stability that seems to be manifesting in Synapse. It's less frenetic energy. That high frequency vibration is starting to become a hum. I think we are trying to seed Dissent and plot the downfall of this line of kings. Do you feel it? A sensation, a clarity. It is coming to me.
You look different.
I feel so much better. Better than I have felt in ages.
Woolworth looks at the veil like with this gnarly frown. Oh, this looks like bad news.
There's a corruption here. I can taste it.
They rely on this line. You see that now, don't you? Don't you? Any moment, the king could come back. They could issue a decree and affect, through so many different connections, points of contact, a whole nation, a whole world. And from this could be our seat. Do you not see it?
There is something familiar about the metal of this throne. It reminds me of our fallen companion.
Does it?
Yes, something. Do you not see it?
I feel it even now. The ash of our blood mingled with them, their flesh. That connection. If you just touch it, bend it a little, you could set a whole ripple into motion.
Master Lord Synapse. Warwarsh is, is snaking around and his forked tongue is slipping out, especially after the veil said it like tastes like something here. And then you're talking about this throne, and Woolworth is looking at Yuri as he goes over to the throne and then starts licking the throne with his tongue. And he says, I taste Yardic's armor.
Yes, it was his armor. It's been reforged somehow.
Oh, what pride. Do you not understand the symbol of our defeat will in turn lead to theirs? Yardic is as much a part of us as he is a part of them, and they are a part of us in turn. From one feeding into another, a whole feedback loop, a perfect circle of connection.
Yes, feeding.
But is it perfect? Can you not taste the bright cleanliness of corruption, the shining purity of corruption?
It hurts! It burns!
All metal rusts, all glory tarnishes, all light knows shadow over time.
That was true before the Maw.
And it will be true again!
Lord Synapse, perhaps use your abilities with connection to connect Yardic's hunger with this new king.
I see it. A golden thread, spooled so thin I could wrap it around the mind of this king, this perfect avatar of our enemy, and slowly but surely he will pull them down with us.
Perfect way to end the scene.
Okay.
What happens is at some point a Synapse and Yuri helps make the preparations, puts together the rituals, appropriate tithe to Synapse's power.
So like a mainframe?
Yeah, exactly. And kind of asserts and makes the psychic mainframe, weaves it into the chair, and then waits for the king to arrive.
Yuri's divinity came through some experience with these computer banks. So I think that
physicality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the physicality
Yeah,
of
the artifact.
Yeah. And we have this rare metal, right? We have this throne. You're talking about this golden thread, but like we have this conductor, right? This object that
Absconding with it and making it unto like the Ark or the Grail.
Exactly.
Where now this line of kings, in like the first corruption is this draw using the same greed
Right.
of Yardak
The
and
want,
Morgus
exactly.
to pull this line away from like leadership and coalescing of their people and propagating or whatever to now like going out into the world seeking the artifact.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the first corruption, this sort of like
Yeah.
thought process that's going to feed through their
Giving
line.
them this greed.
Is that what you're? Is
Yeah.
that?
I think it exactly. It asserts a greed. It asserts this desire for excess and for power and pride. The line of this king is bonded with it, and thus they in turn kind of ripple out, and their actions begin to affect all of the people of Ash.
Morgus has taken on a human form. He is serving as a mid-level functionary. I think we are 2 generations down. The family has been questing. The first king has died. His daughter is now on the throne, but her daughter is the great hero, is the Galahad, right? She is on the throne quest. She's looking for the golden throne.
That was stolen away from her grandfather.
Yes, and Morgus is with her on the quest. Her
Chef.
yeah. He's the quest chef. He's gonna need Dulcet to be with him on this quest. I don't know what form Dulcet wants to be in.
She takes the form another mortal.
Yeah.
And she's the master of hounds for this family. She's in the form of like a haggard man. She wears a patch just like she does now, and she has in this world she's actually has a stumped arm. She's the one who gathers the hounds and is sort of like the family hunt, which works hand in hand with Morgus in that she brings the food and on these quests. She's the one. The character that Dulcet is embodying is this huntsman.
Yes, and Morgus though the chef has somehow gotten himself close enough that he can encourage this desire, right? To keep when they're stuck in the muck and they don't want. But as long as they are so focused on the throne, they can't see what's right in front of them. So
I'm happy to play the princess.
yeah, why don't we get the princess in as well? They have just made their way across this horrible, mucky slough of sadness and defeat, and it's been rough going. They've lost horses, lost men, lost hounds. Food is scarce. The royals are feeling like maybe this is the wrong way to go. Maybe they need to give this up for a while. But around the campfire that night, while everyone is low, Morgus has gathered together a pot of some frogs. Maybe there was a badger or something that they found, and is cooking up a stew, trying to lift the spirits of everyone and keep folks going on the quest.
Do you think it's Morgus? Do you think we've made it a little too easy on them? We could have killed more hounds.
Yes,
We definitely have more horses than they need. It's still faster than I thought they'd travel.
Yes, we could slow them down, but we don't want to diminish their hopes completely.
But we do want to keep a cloud above them.
It's true. It's a fine balance. We need them wanting. We need them desiring more.
Oh, Master Dulcet, would you perhaps sing one of your ancient songs for us?
Oh, girlie. You know that I don't like to think back on the old wars.
Please, please. You have such a beautiful voice. And our spirits are so low.
Well, would you like a helping of this gruel?
Oh, Morgus, you have the best gruel.
I made it special just for you.
Frog legs. You
And
know,
beaver.
Morgus, I don't know.
When the moon's in your eye,
I love this one.
like a large mouth of a god.
Hearken, hearken, my companions. Dulcet favors us.
Have gruel, everyone. There's lots.
Frog legs. I don't know, Morgus. this gruel that you make so well just really reminds me of the gruel that's made at home. I'm wondering, maybe this quest is folly. I'm not sure anymore. I mean, honestly, what does it matter where I sit where I'm queen?
Well, first of all, that chef at the castle learned everything he knows from me, so you're not going to get it better there. But, secondly, you're not going to be the great queen we know you will be without that throne. Don't you want it?
Yes, of course.
I mean,
of course.
don't
It was
you
my
really,
grandfather's throne.
really want it? It was your grandfather's throne.
Those tricksters. The Ash, they stole it from us.
Don't think about them. You can get it back.
Oh, I will slay one of them before my life is over.
And, dear one, I would not say this in any other way. I would not betray the men in our company, but they've paid a heavy price, and I fear for your life and our own if we do not continue this quest and make the price worth it.
It's true. We have been asking the people to send their best to go out on these quests with us.
Absolutely.
Well, if it's for the people, it makes sense. So wisdom from Dulcet, everyone. Around.
Yes,
Please,
yes,
another
rules
song.
for everyone. Enjoy.
Tomorrow we head into the mountains.
Where it began, I can't begin to knowing. But then I know it's growing strong.
Strong.
Was in the spring of the third age.
Yep. Great scene.
So I'm going to play this. This is going to be the Veil. This is going to be 5-6 generations
Yeah, we're almost
It's
done.
actually, this is the 5th generation, and there has been a birth. They finally did get their hands on the throne. We've used it to further separate them from the people by making them like they've touched the Godhead, and now like they speak for us as gods,
Yes.
and we can directly have revealed ourselves to them. And on the birth of one of their kings, we arrive and bestow our boons. I mean, unfortunately, like we've not killed or harmed any of them. We have maybe made them a little less productive.
Definitely.
So their numbers have dwindled a bit.
And not only that, but they've had to send so many resources, so many people to assist them in this folly, this kind of boondoggle of acquiring the throne, that already it's beginning to sow dissent.
We're whittling down their numbers, and this is a birth that people have waited. Even the people wait, with bated breath for this birth, and we've arrived like fairy godmothers to give our blessing to the child and potential curses.
Yeah.
We're actually around the crib of this king to be. Let's see, who else here? Well, the Veil's here. Synapse is here. Morgus is here as well. I'm going to keep it to those 3. And at some point, an angelic host may arrive.
Yes, exactly.
Because they are
They
not
finally-
completely of the ash.
Yeah.
They kind of all bow in our presence. The aged king and queen mother and the princess is presented to us. Her princely husband having died on another quest, because they still quest, and they hold the child out to us and ask for the blessing.
What do you all look like? Like, what forms are you in currently?
Yeah, I think, well, the Veil, it's a body in a winding sheet. A sheer takes a humanoid form, but you can see clear through the sheet to the other side. And
I think Synapse is effulgent. That low hum is now kind of solidified and very confident and powerful. And every now and then, if you're watching close enough, you seem to see an after image as he moves, but he's effulgent with this kind of like sickly bluish green light. His eyes are piercing blue with even more focus of that glow.
And I think Morgus, because so much of this quest happened in these swamplands, I think Morgus has taken on the form of a toad, large golden toad.
yeah, the Veil speaks first and says, "We, your 3 great ancestors, your God King forebears, we will speak to the future of this child, for we see and we know what will come.
And we bring blessings.
Not all truths will sound clear, but knowing is a blessing.
Their significance will be elucidated in time.
And Morgus sort of hops up towards the little one and says, "May you never be satisfied. May your ambitions strive always towards better and greater things for your people, for yourself, and to honor the gods of desire."
Striding forward, leaving that line behind him, Synapse reaches the crib and says, "May you always listen to the counsel of your betters. May you be stronger as your numbers increase and replenish throughout this kingdom. May you only know the power of your surety of the masses. And may your desires always serve to better connect all of your people."
At that point, the doors explode open of this grand hall. Light, golden light just is shining in, and the clomping of large hooves can be heard as what looks to be a giant figure, probably standing 18 feet, 20 feet tall, emerges from this blinding golden light. They have the hindquarters of a bull. They're standing on their hind legs upright. They have the body of a woman. They have the arms of lions with claws. They have, as well, it seems to be a bull's tail. And they have 3 heads, one after the other, on top of these large shoulders. They speak in unison as they emerge, and they say, "The protectors of the maw also bring a blessing for the child. The angelic hosts, which have been watching over your people, also have a blessing for this child." And this huge creature, the crowds are moving backwards as the 3 heads are speaking in unison, and they seem to draw out this stave made of golden light. It seems to have a point at one end and like an axe head at the other. They seem to point it right at the child as this golden light shines
Morgus hops
out of the way as the golden light bathes the child, and the 3 voices say, "Your celestial blood will protect you and guide you. It will bring you home." They stand there as everyone looks to the veil, who's is the last to give a blessing.
Yeah, and the veil just drifts silently to the crib, and as they get closer, the wails of the child begin to like erupt, and it's crying, and tears are streaming down the mother's face, and like people are going ashen gray, and the veil lifts the child, who the crying stops, and the veil like pauses for a moment, and the child starts to turn blue, and the veil says, "You will do great things. You will stand alone at the edge. Such beautiful things." And places the child back down, and color returns to its cheeks, but it stays silent.
Sounds like a great place to end the scene. For our final scene for this challenge, Stratocaster has been pretty remote for these generations. Stratocaster has been fairly pleased with the spread of song and the spread of learning. Less pleased maybe since so much focus is on questing and going out instead of learning things and schooling and playing music and being at home. Stratocaster, I think, has had infrequent contact with the other Ash. I guess we're 7 generations in at this point. But the tough part is now the God blessed child, she won't die. She's continuing to get older and older and
She's
older.
like the matriarch
She
now.
Yeah, so she has survived the last 2 generations. She is probably 110 at this point.
Does she have offspring of her own?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And there's this real question about succession, and there's a lot of fomenting of different power groups. The kingdom is starting to fracture. Intrigue is really taking over these past 80 years. Like, when is she going to die? Like, why isn't she dying? Like, what's happening here? The concern is that her offspring won't die, that those offspring that she has will stick around as well. Her first child is definitely up there in age, probably like 80 or so, hale, hearty. Something in these blessings has altered this line. That we're in a scene wherein the youngest of the royals is performing a secret ritual to call forth the ash gods to kill her grandmother. Stratocaster is called as part of that. The Veil, I think, is called as part of that. Synapse and Morgus, the main ash gods, are drawn forth. We are in this secret chamber, likely in some reclusive mountain fastness, and we are drawn to this opulent ritual chamber that is dedicated to us, to the ash gods. We are being worshipped. We are being worshipped
It's the
and
place
called.
where the throne was found.
Exactly.
Like the hiding place.
Yes, the hiding place where the throne was found. Yes. Exactly. And so that's where this ritual is taking place. And so we've all been summoned at this point, and we are now discussing how best, what our plans might be to do this or not. They are asking of us to destroy their grandmother. You know, they've been able to use old magic to be able to call us, or at least parts of us, force our consciousness. Stratocaster is displeased as they say, this is highly irregular. Morgus, Veil, Synapse. It's been too long. What are you doing here? Why are we here?
We've all answered the call of this daughter.
It's been so long. No one calls me.
It's more, you didn't have to answer.
I felt compelled.
I too felt compelled. And Morgus is like this little shriveled version with these undying kings. Like there's just no excess anymore. They've like sort of calmed everything down. And he's like this little homunculus with this big tongue that's just sort of like flopping out of his mouth.
Synapse, on the other hand, like stronger, more powerful, striding confidently, bright, effulgent light, brighter than it's ever been. And just, but even so, even in this shade, like that's barely a reflection.
Stratocaster appears as a talking sword.
The veil isn't visible at all.
Yeah.
Like you know it's
The
present.
presence is here,
Right.
but we do
And
not.
in fact, the veil says, it's funny, I don't think I was called. I was just interested to see what would happen.
She wants us to kill. We cannot kill.
Of course we cannot kill. Don't you see it? How beautiful and harmonious it all is, all of them together. One unbroken, terrifying circle.
They tie us.
And we
they tie us
them.
to the ones beyond. The bright ones. They will spread corruption to us through the blood they share. I can feel the shine off of them.
They are corrupting our rituals. The ancient rites. I tell you, Veil, I was drawn here against my will.
The monsters are destroying us.
But it's so glorious, don't you understand? I can hear every whisper, every intrigue, every plot. It's so...
Then do us a favor and whisper for once. Whisper an intrigue into this young one's ear. Have her kill her own grandmother.
Why would I do that?
Because we want this line to die.
But it's so... It's ineffable in its perfection.
Synapse. Are you saying you are unaligning with the ash gods?
But don't you understand? I see everything. I know everything. I am the heart of this entire kingdom, this world.
But I can taste the fractures. For as much corruption, as much purity and clarity as sickeningly flows through this, still there are the cracks and the black festering beauties of the ash.
Very well.
You can see it in the actions when the brother kills brother. This line is not above
This line will break,
self-destruction.
and if you will not do it, Synapse, I shall. And the sword turns into the sextant string,
Oh, no.
the artifact of the old age, the last age, as it begins to twang and to basically inculcate this young ruler into the idea that they must become the avenging angel that scours their line.
What are you doing? I will,
Individuality!
Yeah, the veil just laughs and is gone.
I will make you wish that you'd given me this ages ago.
I think that's a great way to place that.
Now we're going to go back to drawing. If your main character is unhappy about the path the Fellowship has taken, hold 1 red stone. If your main character actually wants the quest to fail, hold 2 red stones. Otherwise, hold no stones.
So the player now.
As a player, do you think the Fellowship did what was necessary to succeed at the challenge? Hold white if yes, red if no. Do you think we did what we needed to do to succeed at the challenge? As a player, do you think we're like following what we think we should do? White, then red. Lose 1 character and lose the challenge.
just like fucking last time. Yeah.
To figure out who gets what, let's talk about like what is the chain of events from that scene that we just left. Like we failed. So
We failed.
this line is not going to end.
No, it's not going to.
One of the curses that we gave this queen regent was that she would be alone. So is it that this coup is attempted and
Fails.
but leaves her, the line stands, but the line is a single individual who will not die.
Exactly.
So if that is the path, like leading up to that event, is there a battle?
I like that because it's a civil war, right? Like the younger one and the older one basically
Right.
go at each other.
And in the course of that battle, perhaps that's where someone is lost from our side.
The younger one has been able to summon us before, maybe does that during the battle. Older one has been blessed by angels as well as us, cursed by us, or cursed by y'all, not by me.
Right.
Like I can pitch like, so Dulcet, for instance, right? Dulcet is like this war is raging. It's a civil war. It's brother versus brother. It's like the young queen and the old queen just crashing against one another. And they finally meet on the battlefield, and the young queen calls Dulcet. Because of the power of the sextant, Dulcet must answer the call and is sent against this queen mother because of the like rules of the gods.
That's
and the reason
right.
why we can't
do it.
Dulcet is destroyed. Her attempt, it tears apart the very fabric of her nature.
Exactly.
Of her
She
being.
breaks. She stops being Ash God. Like she can't be one anymore because she
Right. And
has
the
killed another one.
And the extinguished,
Or
like
attempt to
that
kill.
power being extinguished, lays waste to her and rebounds on the one who summoned her. And that's how the last
is
queen. So it's like the
destroyed.
last, these two queens
That's
standing at one another, this sort of last spell that evokes a god, destroys the god, destroys the bearer of the spell, and leaves this ancient queen standing the last of the king gods.
Does it leave the demi part of Dulcet? I mean, she would be out of the pantheon, but did it just burn the ash part?
Burns
out
the
of her?
divinity out of her. Yeah,
And
so
so
she's
That's kind of
now,
fun.
she's still like she's gone.
She's
from
not
us.
an
She's gone
Ash
from
God.
us, yeah.
Right.
Gone from us.
But she's just
mortal.
she's immortal walking the
mortal
plains
now.
of this earth. We've
And
we've
random.
made an extant god on earth. There are these like angels fighting us still. We failed a couple times over. Now we're defining our last challenge. Our overall quest of making mortals worship us will live or die on the success of this challenge. So, Zach, do you want to take a stab at a challenge for this last thing?
We understand now that the people resent us, but we still have kind of like this foothold And maybe the gate of Yardik presents an opportunity. Maybe it shaped the land to suit them.
Forge a new land. Okay.
For our chosen people. So we take our worshipers to a new land, or we create a new land for them. A way to do so. Escape this world and go into the other world.
What makes this difficult to do? Like, why can't we just like walk through this easily?
First off, I think the angels are wise to us. It's probably the last vestiges of our power, and it's a desperation move. I think the crux of the challenge is marshaling whatever powers we have left, whatever followers are remaining, and it's almost like Moses in Egypt. It's basically trying to wade through all of this resentment. In the meantime, the exodus is very much taxing and grueling for those who would make the journey.
How long will it take to do this?
A season?
It is the fall.
Yeah.
And the height of our remaining power will be the winter. That's when we need to hit this thing.
So, Zach, who would be the person that would take the first scene on this?
Morgus, I think you're the weakest.
This is the first day of winter. Morgus and Woolwarsh are at the head of a pack of weary pilgrims. It's still early in the season. First dusting of snow is coming down. They're moving through a valley. These people have just come through hostile territory. They've just come through towns and villages where they were spat at. Things are thrown on them. Yeah, infidels. And they are trying to keep their people together.
What does Morgus look like at this point in time?
He is a version of the homunculus. I mean, he is, I think, even thinner, even less substantial, skeletal. He's sitting on Woolwarsh's shoulder.
That's
he can
right.
no longer locomote.
Quite the opposite. Woolwarsh is corpulent. Woolwarsh has, death has continued. That has not stopped. Like that, we're in business. We're in pretty good business. Our power has been declining, obviously. Instead of power seeping away from Woolwarsh, it collects in Woolwarsh. So Woolwarsh is at their final form at this point. Like, they are as powerful as they'll probably ever be able to be in terms of their, like, all the power is residing in them right now, right? And so they have turned basically into one of your worms of old, but they have this big body on top still.
Yeah.
So they're like this straight up, like, Cronenberg-esque monster that's like, leading this column of pilgrims, through the snow towards this promised land.
As they're pushing along in front of the people, Morgus turns to Woolwarsh and says, "Do you think it's still here?"
I can taste it on the air. Tongue coming out fat, just like this really long tongue coming out, forked. Yes, it is near. We will find it. That's why they sent us.
Morgus tries to lift his own heavy tongue, and it just kind of like moves a couple millimeters, droops down.
Woolwarsh gives a little help and uses his hand to like put the Morgus tongue up. It just sort of holds it up.
It's been so long since I tasted my brother. I can't remember.
Tangy, I remember. Tangy.
Tangy. Yes. How many are with us still?
Yes. At least 7 score.
Yes. We must do something to encourage them. We must promise them. We must promise them everything.
Yes. Now is the time.
Yeah.
There are so many things we can promise them.
Morgus turns and says, "My people."
My people! The Woolwarsh's large voice sort of booms out.
Yes. You have come so far, and the days have been hard. But I can tell you, beyond the gates, there is a paradise. Everything you can imagine. Women, men, toys, food. So much to eat. So much to do.
Everlasting life.
Everlasting life. You must stay with us a little longer.
Well, it's a great place to end the scene, actually.
I have a scene next. We kind of pick up followers. There are mystery cults. The queen still stands. Like there's still this kingdom. There's still this like cult of those who would resist her, and that sort of like draws followers to us, and that's who we go. But they're persecuted. So we stand. It's at a crossroads, and there are these crucifixes, these like massive structures with flayed and dying people who were worshipers of ours, who were like spreading the word of this new land and the exodus to this new land. And the Veil and Synapse are there, standing at this crossroads, looking up at the dying. And the Veil says, "Will it be enough for you that this little world, this little network, will it be enough minds for you?"
At this point, Synapse has regressed back. The toll of war has weighed upon him, not really anticipating the consequences, so he's shimmering and kind of frenetic. I knew perfection. Again, I knew it again. I've lost it twice. It won't ever be enough. I had it all in my hands. I was at the locus of a spoke of a wheel. Aren't you feasting now? Are you here to gloat against me?
No, I simply have a vast curiosity. It's interesting to me how you all wax and wane around me. And he reaches up and touches like the eyes of one of them and closes it, and you see one of the like flayed just rattle and pass. There are still others moaning around them. I wonder if it will ever be enough for you, for them. You all seem to hunger. You seem to push and want more. I can only look back over our shoulders at the thing that we have made, this beautiful monarch. What is enough? When is too much?
You have never known the hunger that these people instilled in us, brother. You would never had a lean year in all of this existence. And now you talk to me about what is enough when you intentionally starve yourself for the first time.
I do say it is a little interesting to want for something. But again, even this I feel I could keep in check. What would you want next when you go on to this other world? What will you gain from it?
A wholeness of being. What I've always needed and wanted to be whole.
You all want something. And he reaches up and touches the last pair of eyes, and the last of them pass.
And Synapse kind of shudders when you do that.
And the veil is gone.
Sweet.
Nice.
Zach, would you like to go now?
There's a scene between Synapse and probably Yuri, as well as Stratocaster. We're bringing up the rear in the pilgrimage, and I think we're...
Maybe it's just a different pilgrimage train entirely.
Exactly. It's another path. We're going the less traveled path and probably a more winding route because our presence is being... Yeah, it's being felt. This is the point at which Stratocaster catches up with Yuri and Synapse.
The years have definitely taken a toll. He is very much dressed like St. Nicholas right now, like a Father Christmas sort of thing, in sort of red robes. He has sort of a pilgrim scholar look about him. He has a big backpack and like a wooden stave that he's using to travel with. He tries to keep a fairly low profile, but people know that he's very intelligent and that he obviously is good at singing. He has a real stink face on, like he is pissed.
Yuri right now is not corporeal in and of himself, but he's sort of zipping from brain to brain among the various pilgrims.
Nice. Sort of taking them over as
Taking them
needed-
over
as
when he needs
needed,
to when he needs
as
to speak.
needed.
Yes.
Synapse is kind of hobbling along at this point, visibly growing more and more insubstantial, more blurry.
Ask me to leave, will you? I'll just take my music with me. I'll take my math with me. Your society's gonna fail. You're not gonna have any intelligent people. You're not gonna have any entertainment. You're just gonna be boring, stupid. I'm just sort of like cursing these people as I'm like making my way through the snow.
And that's when you hear kind of a familiar voice just, whispering, "Yuri, what do they say? What are their thoughts?"
They do not believe we can succeed. This one also does not believe that we can succeed.
What about her?
This one still believes. Do you hear her humming? Do you hear the music she is singing?
Music? No. Music. You're here, aren't you?
Of course. I'm here. And as you catch sight of this Father Christmassy looking character, you realize strapped upon his back is a very familiar shape that seems to be, has been wrapped in wools and leathers and sort of tied down. So it looks like an musical instrument of some type, but a very familiar shape.
If I'd had that however many hundreds of years ago.
Yes, well, you didn't. But we have it now.
All times are present at once. You know this, Synapse.
The quantum state, I'm finally finding it. I'm just too weak.
Well, then let's pep them up, shan't we? And slinging again the sextant off of his back, he reveals it and plays it beautifully, almost like a lute or a lyre of some type. It rings out over the valley and seems to bring hope and belief back to these people.
The woman that Yuri is inhabiting begins to not just hum, but sort of actually sing along with this beautiful
It's
music.
like that Tuvan throat chant thing going on.
Yeah, I think as a hymn kind of runs through the crowd, it just starts low. You see Synapse beginning to become less blurry.
Now you see the power of the secret stanza.
And Yuri is just bouncing from person to person, just reveling in the harmonies and the beauty of the music.
Individuals can make a collective. A collective can be one.
And Synapse says nothing, straightens, and continues to trudge along.
Cool. For our final scene, we are at the Maw of Yardik. We have found it. Our hosts have assembled, paltry hosts, and the four deities of the ash gods have come together once again to attempt a great conjuring to turn the maw of one of their own into a portal way to a place they do not know, but hope will be better when they are than where they are now. The four of us are there: Stratocaster, the Veil, Synapse, and Little Morgus. We are attempting to cast this ritual to open the maw to where it needs to go. We are caught by surprise by the final guardian, the one that we saw all those generations ago, the three-headed, ox-legged, lion-handed angel that is guarding the maw.
the maw is, but at this point it's kind of like one of those things where it's become petrified wood and kind of over time it's kind of calcified. And,
Yeah, it's like an invisible. The maw, I see it as more of an invisible force. I don't think you. It's hard.
We
to,
feel it.
We feel it exactly.
Right, like
feel
we
it.
have senses beyond mortal
Exactly,
kin. So yes, we
exactly.
feel
So-
calcification and
Yeah.
weird.
Exactly. We feel the wound calcified. Yeah. And maybe even they did that. Maybe they blocked it up for some reason. But as Gandalf, this god puts their golden staff into the snowy ground, you shall not pass before us. Stratocaster looks around to his comrades and says, shall we do battle once more for ourselves and our people?
It is the only choice we have. We must fight.
I am but a low hum, but I am the baseline of our world. I will do this one last time.
The veil looks around. They say, these are it. As many as survive this encounter, these will be our worshippers. We will be starting very new. Will it be enough?
I don't know.
It will have to do.
If you asked me what my choice would be to turn those here towards us. But we have been doing this, laboring at this whole age. And this age is coming to an end. I don't know what to do, Vale. I wish we could stay.
Well, perhaps we can parley with this creature. Maybe it will just let us go if we will not return.
Yes. Yes. Morgoth, in the
Okay.
new world, I hope you and I will come to an agreement.
Perhaps in the new world, we can all come to an agreement. There was power when I had my mouth around that lantern. There would be more than enough to share. More than these mere mortals can provide. Great power.
Is the risk worth it? That's my question. I'm ready, but I'm held back.
Well, what will you gain by doing nothing?
We must take one path. Flee or parley. But we cannot stay.
Let us speak to the monster.
Indeed. And we do. We are able to parlay with the monster like, yeah, go get out of here. And they're like, yeah, beat it.
Yeah,
They're like, all right.
I think the idea would be kind of like, wouldn't you rather the world be free of us?
Yeah, that's basically
And
it.
we start,
It's like,
we start walking
like you
towards
win.
the wall.
Yeah, you win. We just want to leave now. And they're like, all right, beat it. Like your time is over anyways. Good that you've realized that.
So now, the outcome of this will decide the entire quest. If we fail here, the entire quest is lost, us having more mortals. So we've added 1 white, 1 red base, 1 red for each failure we've had to this. And now, if your main character, taking 2 reds, if your main character is unhappy about the path the Fellowship has taken, hold 1 red stone. If your main character actually wants the quest to fail, hold 2 red stones. Otherwise, hold no stones. Your character specifically.
This is the overall quest, not the one.
Right. This is the make mortals worship us. So now we're going to go 1 white, 1 red. As a player, do you think the Fellowship succeeded at the challenge or the quest? Hold white if yes, red if no. This will decide the entire quest, not just this challenge. Do you think we succeeded at the challenge here? All right. Red, red. A character betrays or is betrayed by the Fellowship and is lost, and we lose the challenge. Well, I want to pitch something.
It's pretty clear to me.
So the
Yeah.
veil, as you begin to walk through the maw, folds it around you, not sending you to a new place. and like your worshippers won't survive it, but sends you all directly to the heavenly planes.
Right.
Basically, the folding you're trying to do to go to a new world, they betray you. They stay,
Yeah,
behind,
they stay
and
behind.
just send you directly to the angel world. And all your worshippers will be destroyed along the way.
Exactly.
And for the Veil, they do it because, as far as they're concerned, the only ones who remember them are you and these other things. And for them, having this one immortal queen who knows of them
Is enough.
is enough. Like
Yep.
they're Persephone.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's their more immortal. That's their thing. They want an immortal to
Yeah.
worship them.
Yeah.
As-
I think that makes perfect sense. That's sort of where all this was definitely heading.
Does that work?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Oh
so
my
yeah,
God.
the things fold. So now we're going to do our epilogue, where each of us will talk about where our characters are after the failure and fallout of our quest.
For Stratocaster, being directly shipped to the angelic plane was very surprising, fairly terrible experience. Stratocaster, upon arriving in the angelic planes, probably be captured, though would maybe have resisted that by trying to use sort of the artifact that they have. And through this sort of conflict or this standoff, this confrontation, I think the angelic hosts will note that there is something worth saving in Stratocaster. So I think Stratocaster is actually captured and then kept like in a zoo for the angels for the rest of their existence. And they play their artifact.
And how do they feel about the quest? And
Since they weren't invited to give blessings to this queen, that was the fuck up. Like that. Why wasn't I invited? Like, why was I left out? Like, so they're bitter. I think that's a big part of it, is that they sing a lot of bitter lamentations.
Synapse, the moment that his followers all become destroyed in the angelic plane, he just basically goes exceedingly blurry. He's just all after image and then just disperses. And occasionally, somewhere in this heavenly celestial plane, one of the members of the host may hear a whisper at the back of their mind, but it is fleeting and it is infrequent. And that is all that remains of Synapse. But his last thoughts as to whether or not it was worth it, the last moment that he thinks of is when he had control over everything once again for the second time. And that was it.
Morgus, there's a brief moment when the pilgrims pass over into this land of angelic bliss, and everything they could have ever wanted, all of their dreams, swell into them. And Morgus inflates and inflates and inflates. And for a moment, he believes he's gotten everything he wants. He believes he is the most powerful god in the realm. And then he bursts. And just, goo, gold everywhere. And that's it. That's
Goo
the end
and
of Morgus.
gold.
back on the old world,
Ash world.
the explosion perhaps of Morgus and you're passing through has closed the hole, and there have been no gods in this place. Millennia upon millennia passed. The sun is dying. The last of its light is fading, and the last of the humans are dying. And you actually look down. They're on this precipice. It's actually the old battlefield where we started.
Yeah.
It's up on this
Yeah.
cliff face.
Yeah.
The queen monarch stands looking down at the last village. These like mud and wattle, like daubed huts, where people have pyres going against the encroaching darkness, and tears are streaming down both of her cheeks. And she whispers, "Why won't you let me die?" And that's when Vale rests a hand. He's been there with her the whole time.
Yeah.
When she looked back in the sand,
Ugh.
there were always one set of footprints, and that's because Vale doesn't leave footprints.
Yeah.
And he goes, "I told you you'd see one last beautiful thing." And he raises his hand like he did before, and the sun is extinguished, and the pyres extinguish, and she stands alone, the last of her world, looking down on the emptiness.
Ah, Bruno. Maybe we made the right choice to leave.
that our story ends. We will return with a new tale to spin to dare to entertain. I was one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho and on Instagram at board_ghost. Ken, where can people find you?
Board Ghost, find me on Twitter at Berlingsbeard, BERLINGS. I post a lot about my own games, but also about some behind-the-scenes stuff from our awesome recordings. But you should also definitely check out our Patreon. Don't forget to do that if you want to see some amazing behind-the-scenes videos and illustrations.
All right. Zach, how about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me at zmichaelnorton.com or on Twitter at zmichaelnorton, and several conventions coming up in the summer at which I will probably be running a game, so look for me there.
Christopher, again, thank you for being on. Anywhere people can reach you?
Well, you can find me on the streets of New York City. I'll be wearing a white rose in my lapel.
All right. Thank you guys both again for coming on. It was a blast showing you guys follow.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Super fun.
All right. So to learn more about the players and engine in our story, go check out boardghost.com. You can follow us on Patreon at patreon.com/boardghost. Attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at BoardGhostWorld on Twitter. Shout out to the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. We'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com or on his band's website, hotelsandhighways.com. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become.
Dying don't agree with me.